Ready. Play.
Okay, let's do that as best we can regarding the current tennis landscape, which will involve at least 50% of the Iga and Carlos show. No prizes for guessing which 50% that is. In fact, let's begin, shall we, with Iga. I saw a lot of people frothing at the mouth regarding her performances. Obviously, one was a very lopsided, easy win that she had, but I think a lot of people were very excited by this particular rally that she had with Casper Ruud. And I get it, but ultimately the winner wasn't aimed at Casper Ruud. Am I right in that particular rally?
Sort of, but that's the point, right? I mean, she was going at Ruud until she spotted an opening because a carry moved a little prematurely. So in a way, she did out-rally Casper. At first, I think Zielinski and Ruud were trading ground strokes, but it was just for a brief second, and then you get like 20 shots of Iga and Casper just going at each other. It was very fun, and it was very needed as well, of course, after the bagel second set.
Yeah, let's share something on the screen right now in terms of group standings at the very least, which hopefully will become clearer as well as we progress for our audience as well. Let me just get this up on the screen. Just while I do this though, Vanch, tell me about Iga in the doubles in particular, but also her singles win and where we're at, particularly in terms of the fact that I think I'm going to get reminded of my 5th place prediction for Iga come the year end of 2025 with every match and tournament, especially Grand Slam, that she ends up winning in 2025.
Yeah, that's definitely bold to have her at number 5. But
bold is my favorite word.
4 is basically top 2, but I don't know. I don't think we learned that much in the first singles. Just the quality gap was too big for me to really have any much of a takeaway. The doubles, the Iga Ruud rally and this has been kind of a meme on tennis Twitter for like a couple of years, but I guess it kind of started when she did the same with Zverev last year, I think maybe in the final, even though they ended up losing that doubles. Just like high octane trading against top male players. It just gets that rally get posted over and over again, and it'll probably be shared for the next couple of days repeatedly. But I think she looked pretty good. She looked like, she'd kind of put the off-season stuff behind her, at least for the time being. We'll see if like the high competition, like high intensity of the competition and how deep they actually go, whether that impacts her chances in Australia. Because she's played this twice, and it hasn't actually translated to a great Australian Open for her. And the one time she didn't play it, she did make the semis. So
yeah,
that is something to watch out for.
How does she end up in the semis in 2022 and not coming close to repeating that ever since? I'm trying to think who she beat en route to those semis, Damien.
Well, that's kind of the story. I mean, there was this very tough match against Kirstea. Who was it? Like Kaya Kanepi maybe as well along the way.
Kaya Kanepi in the quarters, yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't like that tough of a road.
Okay.
By the semis, we kind of had no idea, of course, how she was going to fare later. But Barty had already defeated her in Adelaide. It's fair to just think that it would have happened, the same way in the final. So I think in 2022, she pretty much had as much of a chance to win that event as in 2023 or 24, even though she ended up losing much earlier. It's just Barty was way too strong in 2022 anyway. And that was kind of the tennis landscape at the time, right? It was Barty and then nobody. So that's kind of like how Iga, I think, at the time, even though she was much weaker as a player than she is right now, I think at the time, there was just this opportunity for a run was there.
Within 5 months, it was going to be Iga and nobody, or maybe even a bit less, sort of between
even less, even Sunshine double probably.
Yeah, exactly. Are we seeing anything? It's probably too early to start to talk about Swiatek and the relationship with, or the coaching situation with Wim Fissette coming in, Vanch. We obviously saw 3 matches in the WTA finals that they had together, and we've seen 1 singles match and now a doubles match here in Australia. If we haven't seen anything really that we can pinpoint, what should we be looking out for in especially the next 3 or 4 weeks across this Australian swing regarding changes that Swiatek might be bringing to her game, Vanch?
Well, so what I wanted to see from her, and I kind of pushed for this after the U.S. Open, and almost all throughout her hard court losses in the majors, is I just wanted to see more of like a plan B so she can get out of that ball mashing mode that she found herself in against Pagula, which just resulted in straight up hitting contests. And I want her to use her athleticism and speed so that she can, play a little bit further behind the baseline, especially on return, give herself a little bit more time so she can use her world class athleticism to turn points around and her defense. Because I feel like, that part of her game was being kind of underutilized, or maybe she just mentally wasn't in the right headspace, and possibly pressure, possibly just feeling like she hasn't made a hardcore semi in a long time. So I think I'm just gonna look for that and see if there's any other ways that she goes about attacking, because that kind of nerf fest performance, those kind of nerf fest performances, you want to see an improvement in that regard, and you don't want to just see her dominate the clay. You want to see it happen in other places too. But I think the return position is something to watch out for. I think the just more variety, maybe just some more higher loop air shots, just some more calmer point construction type things. And I think the serve as well is just going to continue to get better, and hopefully we'll see that pay dividends in some matches, like it already did last year in some matches on the clay, but we'll see it more in Australia, hopefully.
Damien, are we likely to see any drop shots and changes in return position from her? I think this is something that sort of the casual observers are looking out for, but maybe there's something you can add to what Vance said.
Not really. I mean, drop shots, maybe not in Australia, maybe by the clay season, if anything. But yeah, it's still early days. I don't think we actually could have learned anything from today based on how Iga was playing, because, well, Marine Helgo is just not the type of opponent where she's going to have to push herself. And then the mixed is just such a different challenge. I think the only thing we really knew we can expect was that, well, at the Billie Jean King Cup finals, even though the situation with the doping was still not yet out and everything was uncertain, she gave 200% engagement, and this is exactly what she did today. I mean, it's kind of fair to say that she carried Zielinski to the win, which sounds a bit crazy, but that was basically what happened. So I think from that standpoint, obviously, we are not disappointed. And the match against Muchova will be a big tell. This is such a different opponent to what others try to play against Iga on the tour. She can just lure her into rallies that usually lure her into patterns that Iga that usually shies away from. Usually just wants to be stuck to the baseline and glued to the baseline. And Muchova is a complete opposite of that. So that's going to be super fun. But yeah, I mean, today was just a warm-up for her, really. Even if they lost the mixed, I would have called it a warm-up, because it's such a fast-paced format. And yeah, I mean, obviously the patterns are so different.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.